Coming up next on the update, as we head toward Thanksgiving, it's time to give thanks, and we'll do that with a Fan Appreciation Day. We'll also tell you about another female rider that's made a winning mark this fall at Remington Park. How about the riders that choose to skim the rail on the way home? We'll talk a little bit about that. It's all next on the Remington Park Update. Everybody, and welcome to the Remington Park Update as we head into the final week of action during the 1996 racing season at Remington Park. This coming weekend of racing will conclude the 1996 fall meeting, but boy, we had some great racing highlights, and we had another this past week. Let's take a look at our highlights review, which also includes an excellent field going in the $40,000 Governor's Cup. We start, though, with the fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and older, going in the $20,000 Nichols Hill Stakes. Two of the favorites are on the lead right now. That's Hasty's Book, the actual wagering favorite, and Enough Sal. But you want to watch for a railscaping ride coming up by Shabana with Roger Gomez.
They come to the top of the stretch, the half and 44-3, and Enough Sal is digging hard on the outside of Hasty's Book. These two are head and head. Hasty's Book the inside, and Enough Sal. Whole Lot of Pleasure is racing in third. Shabana is making up ground and gaining furiously toward the inside. Shabana just with enough racing room to squeeze through. And Shabana goes to the lead in the Nichols Hills. Whole Lot of Pleasure right there second. It's Shabana.
Shabana and Roger Gomez go where few dare to go and come up with the victory. Owned and trained by Ted Latour. Shabana ridden a great ride, in fact, by Roger Gomez, 110-3 the final time. Whole Lot of Pleasure was second, and Enough Sal hung on to finish third in the Nichols Hill Stakes. We move now later in the card, and this is the Cimarron Stakes for the 2-year-old fillies going 7 furlongs. Lucinda out in front as they head toward the wire with Luis Quinones aboard. And Lucinda, he can put the whip away. The job is done now as Lucinda gets the victory in the Cimarron. Vern Winchell, the winning owner. Steve Asmussen, the winning trainer. Luis Quinones with the ride. 124-4 the time for this winning filly. Burke Go was second. Missed the Blues finished third. Friday's feature race extended a winning streak for a son of Sluicide. Slew Mooney, going in the feature race on Friday, has put together a great winning streak during the fall. 4 wins in a row, including this hard-fought win.
Slew Mooney now has grabbed the lead. It's Slew Mooney with the lead. Then Midnight Clowning. Coming on late is Fast Serve and Tad Fast. They have 70 yards to go. It's going to be Slew Mooney again.
Leading rider Tim Ducey times this one right aboard Slew Mooney, and they have excellent timing. They've timed and teamed up for 4 wins during the meet. Oak Tree Stables, the winning owner. Wade White, the trainer. 142-4 the final time. You see 4th consecutive victory for Slew Mooney. Oak Tree Stables has not just one streaking horse, but 2, and here's the other. Winning a starter allowance on Saturday, November 23rd. Wally Badger also carries their colors and also has racked up 4 straight victories during the meeting.
They have a 16th of a mile to go, and it's Wally Badger once again. Wild Companion second. Then comes Mambo Prince. At the wire, it's Wally Badger for his 4th in a row.
This son of Badgerland has flown several colors during his racing career, but doing quite well, thank you, with the colors of Oak Tree Stables, now being conditioned by Joe Lucas. Kenny Sides had the winning ride, and you see the time, 2:32 and 4/5 seconds for this long-distance victory by Wally Badger. Saturday's 6th race brought together a very good field, going 6.5 furlongs, and in this allowance race, on the early lead is part of the entry Imagine Mad. But back behind, bucking for a victory, or trouble on the line, White Wheels and Ute Creek.
Battle up front now. Imagine Matt on the inside. An Exclusive Zone right to the outside. The quarter in 21-4 as Ute Creek stalks that top pair and races only 3/4 of a length back in third. Trouble on the line is now 4th, and outside of him is Equity. caught a wide fifth. Dropping back now is Jim's Key, followed by White Wheels. And the back two are Doc Davis and Letters of Truth. They come to the top of the stretch, and Ute Creek advances to a short lead. Ute Creek leads it in the upper stretch. White Wheels is making steady progress. White Wheels engages Ute Creek. Trouble on the line just on the outside of them. A close-up third. White Wheels settled off the pace early. He's powered to the lead past the 16th pole. Ute Creek won't give up on the inside, but White Wheels prevails a half length.
White Wheels, the son of Mr. Redoy, owned and trained by Todd Snead, gets the win here. Benny Landeros, he gets back to the winner's circle in stakes competition. Ute Creek was second, Equity finished third. 1:16, the final time in this allowance battle. We move to Saturday's feature race, and that was the Governor's Handicap, a $40,000 event. This is for 3-year-olds and older, going 1 mile and an 1/8. In the field here, Spodioti, a former champion, Jack Earl, Cimarron Secret, City Knights, and Brush with Pride.
Up front, Flight Risk leads it by 2.5. Then Spodioti on the inside into second, Brush with Pride third. Roadho is now fourth. Cimarron Secret has a spot at the rail, racing in fifth. Eastern Danger is now sixth. Highway Home to the far outside, 4 wide in seventh. City Knights is tucked in eighth, 8 lengths off the lead early on. Then He's Okay and Catch and Release racing together. And trailing the field is Jack Earl. The quarter in 22 and 4. They're on to the backstretch, and Perry Compton and this long shot Flight Risk set the pace 3 parts of a length. Ducey and Brush with Pride are up a close second now, with Spodioti tucked in third. Then 2.5, and Cimarron Secret is racing in fourth. Eastern Danger is right outside of him in fifth. Then Roadho and City Knights, and the back group is Catch and Release, He's Okay, Highway Home, and Jack Earl trails the half and 46 flat. They're onto the far turn, and now Brush with Pride is the leader. As Flight Risk is dropping back on the inside, Cimarron Secret looms into second now. 3.5 lengths off of Brush with Pride, who's a solitary leader around the far turn. Cimarron Secret is trying to cut into the margin. Eastern Danger is keeping up well and races in third. City Knights is fourth of a strung-out field now. Spodioti a distant fifth. And then comes Jack Earl to the outside. They straighten out after 3 quarters and 1:10 and 1, and they come for home in the Governor's Cup. And Cimarron Secret making strong progress on the outside of Brush with Pride. They pass the furlong pole, and Cimarron Secret establishes the lead, looking for 2 straight Governor's Cups. It is Cimarron Secret with the lead, then Brush with Pride, and Jack Earl on the far outside. Cimarron Secret takes the Governor's Cup again.
Cimarron Secret makes it 2 in a row in the Governor's Cup. Francis McDonald, the winning owner. Jim Hartley, an Oklahoma native, the winning trainer. Rodney Sedin ships in from Suffolk Downs, where Cimarron Secret last raced. Brush with Pride was second, Jack Earl third. 1:49 and 3 the time. And the Oklahoma native trainer Jim Hartley glad to get back.
You know, he's a big game horse, and he likes to run, and when he went after him, I knew he was going to get him.
2 years in a row to win this race, kind of special. I guess the last time you were here, you won it. You come back and win another one.
Absolutely, it's very special. I mean, when you ship 1,400 miles to a place that, you know, and you win a race, it's a pretty good feat. And this horse has done it 2 years in a row now, and you know, he's a pretty special horse.
Talk a little bit about coming home and having a lot of people here to support you today.
Well, yeah, I was raised in Newkirk, Oklahoma, and I've been, you know, training back east for most of my life now, and Mr. McDonald come out here with a couple of different horses, and he liked it out here, and so that's the reason we come back, and, you know, my family was all here to see it happen.
When we come back on the update, Robin Brooks will introduce us to another young lady who is saddled up to a winning mark on the racetrack during the fall meeting at Remington Park. Stay with us. We've got more to come here on the update. The Remington Park update is brought to you by Coors Light. Tap the Rockies. Welcome back to the Remington Park update. You know, over the years, the jockey colony at Remington Park has been very competitive. We've seen some outstanding riders come through Oklahoma City, go on to greatness in thoroughbred racing. Well, just this past week, one of our female riders tied a winning mark. Here's Robin Brooks.
Last week, we introduced you to Michael Fetters, an apprentice jockey making her place in the racing industry. This week, we caught up with a more established veteran rider. Noel has been a jockey for 8 years. After graduating college, where she studied veterinary medicine, Cindy decided not to apply to vet school, but began riding instead. She got her start in Florida, but soon moved to a different country to ride horses there.
Well, after I graduated from college, I met up with some people in Florida where I was galloping horses for them, and they gave me a shot. I've always been naturally light, so they gave me a shot on their horses after I'd galloped a couple of years for them, and which actually was over in Argentina where I started. And because they were from Argentina, and they took their horses back there, and one thing led to another, and I started riding over there and was over there for 2 years until I came back here and I got my license out here and started riding.
Let's talk more about Argentina. How is it different racing there than here at Remington Park or anywhere in the United States?
Well, over there in Buenos Aires, the tracks are much larger and there's more horses, bigger fields of horses, like 18, 20 horse fields all the time. So you got more traffic and you have to look, ahead more. And the tracks are wider and bigger, though, and it's like mile races are all one turn. It's kind of like Belmont track. They're really big tracks. And one track is all turf racing. So I got some grass experience over there. And other than that, it's pretty much the same.
This season is not the first time we've seen Cindy Noel in Oklahoma. Our first look was in the 1995 Lazy E Ladies National Jockey Championship, where she competed with 9 other female jockeys from all across the country. She finished third in that competition, and she was even 5 months pregnant.
Third as they come to the finish, Liberty Zone and Cindy Noel have outrun them all. Liberty Zone is going to do it, taking it a length.
Was that tough? Or?
Yeah, it is tougher. I mean, of course, you're heavier. You get a little heavier, and you're starting to feel uncomfortable. Your jock pants are getting tight, but I quit about my 5th month with both of them.
Did you win a few races that day?
Yeah, I won one race that championship day, the Lady Challenge Day, and I finished 3rd in the points, so I finished 3rd overall.
So Cody helped out.
Yeah, he sure did.
As you can tell, being a jockey is a dangerous profession. On Sunday, November 10th, Cindy's Mount Seminole Wind fell in the back stretch. Cindy was thrown clear, but was taken to first aid as a precaution. Her neck was a little sore, but that didn't stop her. On Friday, she had a 3-win day. Cindy is the second female ever in Remington Park's history to accomplish that. How does Cindy deal with the fear of falling?
Well, actually, you don't think about it. And usually things happen so fast that you're on the ground before you know what happened. And I got lucky a week ago Sunday, when the horse did break down and fell with me. I got thrown clear, and I landed just right so that I didn't get hurt, and we were just lucky.
Cindy is a working mom. She has a 4-year-old daughter and a 17-month-old son. How does she juggle her schedule?
Yeah, you have to juggle your kids' schedules and my schedule, and this season my husband's even away, so I've got the kids by myself. It's really tough.
Now, you have a daughter and a son. If your daughter came up to you and said, "Hey, Mom, I want to do what you do. I want to be a professional jockey," what would you say?
She's always saying that. If somebody will ask her what she wants to be, and she just pipes right up and says, "I want to be a jockey." And I just wait and see if that's what she really wants. If she really wants it, I wouldn't oppose it.
Do you have a motto, something that gets you through a tough day?
Yeah, I just keep thinking, well, Julie Crone and Donna Barton probably have these kind of days too.
Cindy Noel, a very talented and very tough rider here at Remington Park. For the Remington Park Update, I'm Robin Brooks.
A reminder, as we race into the final week of the 1996 fall meeting, there will be no live racing at Remington Park on either the day before Thanksgiving or Thanksgiving Day. If you do want to enjoy racing action, we'll have full card simulcasts on both those days, including the Thanksgiving Day card from Churchill Downs. Coming up here at Remington Park, we'll be racing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And on Saturday, have we got a gift for you. It is Fan Appreciation Day, thanks to the folks at Southwestern Bell Mobile Systems and also KWTV Channel 9. Remington Park has enjoyed another successful year, and to thank all the racing fans, they've joined together to present Fan Appreciation Day. On that day, they want to be one of the first 6,000 paid fans at Remington Park before 4 p.m. and receive a specially designed rain slicker absolutely free. That is free rain slickers on Fan Appreciation Day coming up on Saturday, November 30th. Well, we've got a lot more to come on this edition of The Update. Stay with us.
It can be easy sometimes for horse players and race watchers to be overly critical of jockeys. After all, from a distance, most race riders make it look easy. And in racing, the fan has a monetary interest in the outcome. So we expect jockeys to be perfect every time, which of course is impossible. But every once in a while, we're reminded how brave and skillful the jockeys are. In recent days, we've had two horses stumble out of the gate and unseat their riders. In both cases, the horses were fine, but here jockey K.C. Murray comes away with a badly sprained ankle, scrapes and bruises when number 7, No More Demons, gets away stumbling, tosses Murray to the track, and then steps on him while riding herself. Then on Wednesday, jockey David Brown encounters a similar problem but escapes injury when his mount, number 4, Prospector's Bell, stumbles and pitches him to the ground. Fortunately, no injuries resulted to horse or rider. On the other hand, here's the glory of a race rider. In the Nichols Hills Overnight Stakes, which you saw in our highlights earlier, jockey Roger Gomez brings number 5 Shabana from well off the pace by rallying her at the rail. What we don't see here is Shabana braking awkwardly and spotting the field ground early. But in the stretch, Gomez spots an opening inside of pace setter Hasty's Book and drives through that narrow opening to get the victory. We saw another ground-saving trip this week from jockey Glenn Murphy aboard number 1, Guilty Affair. In this allowance race for fillies and mares on Wednesday, Murphy uses the short way home on the inside to get by rivals who are caught on the outside, including number 5, Amazon Queen, and number 7, Vicky Cahill. Guilty Affair coming on the inside. Rail skimming ride from Glenn Murphy, and Guilty Affair gets there. Amazon Queen a second and Vicky Cahill third. Staying on the inside isn't the only way to win. A horse racing along the rail has to have racing room in order to get up. Sometimes horses on the outside get better trips, but for sheer excitement, nothing quite matches horse and rider slipping through at the rail. For the Remington Park Update, I'm Jim Barnes.
I bet you were wondering what the final weekend has in store as far as action on the racetrack at Remington Park. We've got some good races coming up. As always, Dale Day is along for the ride. He's got a preview of the closing weekend stakes races, which includes the Oklahoma Thoroughbred Association Futurities divisions for both the Colts and Geldings and for the fillies.
The 1996 running of the OTA Lassie division of the Futurity is very similar actually to the 1995 version, where the field is a little light on stakes quality. But last year's running produced Western Lil, who is still undefeated, and this year's running has this talented Gray, Zenob's Finale, who was ultra impressive in breaking her maiden on November 9th for Chuck Cluxton, the owner, and trainer Gary Chamberlain. While the Lassie division of the OTA Futurity is not loaded with stakes winners, it does have plenty of quality runners. Now, on the Laddie side, the Colts and the Geldings, there are numerous stakes winners bidding for the 6-furlong $35,000 prize. Trainer Gary Chamberlain's stable will be represented in the Laddie division. Western Train did not like the starting gate when he tried to become a first-time starter well over a month ago. He flipped in the gate, injured himself, and had to be scratched. So when he finally did make it to the racetrack for an event, it happened to be on Oklahoma Classics Day in the Laddie division. And he came through in flying colors at first asking, defeating a stakes winner in Sly Sunrise. Western Train, undefeated and trying to stay that way in the OTA Futurity. As for Sly Sunrise, owned and trained by Clinton Stewart, he also is a stakes winner, picking up a score earlier this year in Iowa at Prairie Meadows. He hasn't fared with as much success here at Remington Park, but he'll be back in the Laddie division looking to avenge his loss to Western Train in that Daily Oklahoman Sports Page Juvenile back on November 3rd on Classics Day. Chuck Turco trained Classy Heroes expected to come back for the OTA Futurity as well. He had a troubled trip in that Daily Oklahoma Sports Page Juvenile on Classics Day, but back when he broke his maiden, he was ultra impressive here, romping off to a very nice score over some other sharp runners in easy fashion on October 13th. Classy Hero's been training well and is ready to go for Turco one more time in the OTA Futurity Laddie division. The closing weekend is coming up here at Remington Park, and our final two stakes races are upon us. The $35,000 OTA Futurities. One division for the Lassies, the fillies, and the Colts and the Geldings going in the Laddie division, both races contested at 6 furlongs. For the Remington Park Update, I'm Dale Day.
When we come back, we'll wrap up this edition of the Remington Park Update. Stay with us. Remington Park update has been brought to you by Coors Light. Tap the Rockies. Welcome back to the Remington Park update. It's sad as we get ready to close down the live racing season for 1996 at Remington Park, but we do have 3 more days to enjoy. Now remember, no live racing on the day before Thanksgiving or Thanksgiving Day, but we will have racing on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That includes Fan Appreciation Day, Saturday, November 30th. Remember, if you're one of the first 6,000 fans to show up at Remington Park before 4 p.m. on that day, you'll receive a specially designed rain slicker absolutely free. Want to thank the folks at Southwestern Bell Mobile Systems and KWTV Channel 9 for being involved with Fan Appreciation Day in 1996. We've also got some outstanding racing action that will come your way over the final weekend and includes a couple of stakes races that are traditions at Remington Park, another peek at the future stars as we close down the year 1996 with the Oklahoma Thoroughbred Association Futurities, the divisions for the Colts and Geldings, and for the fillies. Remember, next week we will wrap up the 1996 racing season right back here for you on the Remington Park update. We look forward to seeing you then. Hope you'll come out and enjoy the final weekend of action during 1996. Goodbye, everybody.